Welcome back to Lenz's movie review, episode 119. This I'm viewing the second MCU film. Though I should point out though, this is not the first time they've done a live action version of this character. This is the third time they've done it. And who is this character? The Incredible Hulk. Yeah, this one was released in 2008. Let me briefly talk about the first two attempts. The first attempt was back in the 1970s with a TV show that has nothing to do with the comic at all. Aside from the fact it features the Hulk, Bruce Banner and the Hulk, the show itself had nothing to do with the comics at all, and they didn't feature any of the villains. Heck, they had this weird thing. Even Stan Lee disagreed with the process. Apparently, you see, in the show, he's called David. Yes, his name is David, but they made his middle name Bruce. Yeah, I heard that from the reason why they changed because they thought the name Bruce sounded gay. Yeah, that's the reason for it. The show was on the air for about 5 years, but if you look at how many episodes each season put out, it was very inconsistent. Heck, the last season the show didn't produce that many episodes, like about 8. And also produced 3 TV movies. The second one basically was also noteworthy for being the first ever Stan Lee cameo. Yep, in the film The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which also inspired the title of a comic book. It was the second issue Ultimates 2. Yes, the one by Mark Millar. Yeah, one where Hulk was actually on trial. Though unlike in the movie where it was a dream, this one actually happened. And then of course you had the Return of the Incredible Hulk, which had the first appearance of a character I'm going to talk about in a couple episodes from now. The second one featured the live-action debut of Daredevil, where she acted like Daredevil but didn't wear his costume for some strange reason. And the Kingpin was played by an actor who since passed away. Yeah, first of 3 times to play the Kingpin. And then the following film featured the main character of the show, Highlander Raven. Yeah, she basically was pretty much his love interest. And believe it or not, there was going to be another Hulk film prior to Bill Bixby's death. He was the original actor to portray Bruce Banner. Yeah, the thing of Bruce Banner and the Hulk, they were portrayed by 2 different actors. Yeah, Bill Bixby played David Banner. Yeah, he since passed away. He actually is the reason why there was no more film associated with that particular franchise. The other, of course, was Lou Ferrigno, who is still alive, and the guy is a bodybuilder, and he's also deaf. Yep. And he still works out, man, at his age. I think he's in his 50s now, 50s or 60s, I'm not sure. After the last film, there wasn't a film again until Ang Lee's 2003 film, Hulk. A film that I do agree, it is not very good. Like, oh my gosh, they really screwed the pooch with this one. Like with that one, aside from the Hulk, the only characters apart from the comics for that film were just Ross. Well, General Ross, his daughter Betty, and Glenn Talbot, who was just a scientist in that version instead of being social in the military. And by the way, did they actually bring an actual villain from the comics to that film? The answer is no, they really didn't. They basically gave his father a couple powers. They get powers of Zaz and the Absorbing Man. Yeah, but no villain. And it was also they also had the infamous Hulk dogs, which I thought was really disgusting. And of course, also apparently it was revealed in that version of the film that his father's name was David. That Bruce Banner's father had been injecting him since he was younger with this special serum that was activated thanks to an explosion that happened in a lab. They did have Virgil Jones in the movie, who was not a teenager, was just a slightly overweight nerd. Yep. Oh yes, and also for some reason, yeah, this was particularly very weird. The live-action TV show version of The Incredible Hulk featured an origin story for him that is not the comic book version. Nope, in the comics, the version is that he survived a gamma bomb explosion. In the show, it's like, okay, he's strapped himself to a chair, trying to experiment stuff, whatever, and for some reason, they made it part of the origin story of the Hulk in this film. Yeah, and I tend to question this though. Why include the live action? Why include that TV show's version, even though that's not the actual origin of how he got in the comics? Yep. Now, as for the look itself, it actually could definitely say, yep, that is the Hulk. He looks a lot more better than he did in the last film. And also, unlike in the last version, they actually do feature a Hulk villain. The Absorbing Man, who in this version is brown. Yeah, he's played by Tim Roth. Liv Tyler plays Betty Ross, who is the second actress to put her hair. And we also have the second ever live action version of General Ross, played by William Hurt. Now, who plays Bruce Banner in this movie? Edward Norton, a man who has a reputation for not getting along with people, and probably by far one of the most difficult actors I've heard people worked with over the years. Yes, the guy himself also had an unofficial rewrite on this film, where, get this, the Hulk himself will not show up until an hour into the movie. Yes. In the version we see here, he shows up like about 20-25 minutes in. Oh, in case you're wondering, does the Hulk have actual lines in this movie? Yes, he speaks twice. The movie starts out Bruce Banner in Brazil. Yep, Brazil. He's working at a bottle factory. He accidentally spills his blood on one of the bottles. That somehow gets leaked. And of course, you have a Stanley cam of him drinking the stuff. This apparently also causes people to Hulk out, but not become Hulks, just Hulk out. And also, there's this woman in the factory that a very beautiful woman who is basically having now one of Bruce Banner's co-workers in the movie is obsessed with her. Like, he's a much more older guy. He's like, looks like he's probably in his 50s or 60s. And he wants a woman who's practically in her 20s. Bruce is very protective of her, doesn't have sex with her, but he is very protective of her. And then at one point, he tries to say his infamous line. He says, "Don't make me angry." Yeah, which is the infamous line he was known for saying in the Incredible Hulk TV show. And he said a few times in the comics as well, though he actually said, "Don't make me hungry. You like me, I'm hungry." They're like, what? Yeah, the actual line is supposed to be, "You wouldn't like me, I'm angry." So he turns the Hulk off screen. You don't see the transformation. Which I do think that was complete bullcrap on the part of the directing movie, which is Louis Latry. Yeah, he's the one who actually directed this movie. Now, also, this film is noteworthy for introducing two Hulk characters in this movie, aside from Abomination, who make their first ever live action appearance. One, of course, is Doc Samson. Yep, Doc Samson makes his live action debut. In case you're wondering, does his hair turn green in this film? Nope, it doesn't. Yeah, I do not know why. It's particularly one of the most strangest things. He's played by Ty Barra. I'm not all that familiar with him, aside from the fact he was in the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. That's simply put what this guy is. We also saw the live action debut of another character from the whole comics, aside from him, who plays a very small character. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it here. Because I know he appears in the movie. Dr. Samuel Stearns, aka the Leader, who they tease him turning to leader later in the movie. He's basically named himself Mr. Blue. Yep, Mr. Blue. Now, after the Hulk transforms into Bruce Banner turns to Hulk, he beats up the bullies and then flees the country. Though Ross himself gets caught in this matter, and the way it's implied for this movie, it's implied that some of the events of the 2003 film are canon, but not entirely. No, it's implied some events of the film, but not the film itself is basically not canon to this film. It's that some of the things, like the ending of the film, is canon to this film, but the rest of the film not canon at all, because I think even the director realized that film was so stupid. The director himself was a very accomplished director, but yeah, he did weird things in the 2008 film where he would have like split screens. Now I get the fact this was also popular for 24, but not for the Hulk. He thinks that, oh yeah, comic panels, make a live action version of that. Very poorly, mind you. Just make a regular thing. And it was constant. The whole thing was really annoying. Flees the country and ends up in a Spanish-speaking country. Actually, I think he ended up in like some other part. Yeah, in some other country. So he looks for stretchy pants because, well, he has stretchy pants. Eventually, he finds a way to get back to the States to, well, sort of get in touch with Betty Ross, who's dating Leonard Samson in this movie. Yes, Doc Samson and Betty Ross never hooked up in the comics. Nope, this is made purely for the film. Yeah, the relationship goes nowhere. And the thing is, Ross himself is not like one thing I at least gotta appreciate though about this version of Ross, he's not obsessed with the Hulk as he is in the comics. It's very toned down. It's still there in some places, but my gosh, the comics were over the top with his obsession with the Hulk. Yes. That was the thing when it came to the character himself. Was that was a lot of thing a lot of people didn't like about General Ross over the years was that he was so obsessed with the Hulk he really wanted to catch him or kill him. Yeah, they made it a big plot point in World War Hulk of all things. Yes. In the film it's there, but thank you William Hurt for turning it down. It's like in the comics it's turned to 11. Here it's like down to like 3 or 4, which is fine. And I at least got praise the fact that William Hurt portrays Ross as a competent general. And now here's the thing I do. Now here's the thing about Emil Blotsky, aka the Abomination. There's no mention of his wife in this film. Yeah, in the comics, his wife is a ballerina. In the film, there's no mention of being married. Nope. They do keep the fact the man is Russian, aside from the fact he's American, with basically Russian descent. Aside from that, nothing much else to it. Now, in the comic, this guy was an agent of the KGB. Yep. Yeah. So aside from the fact that who were the KGB status, he's similar to how he's portrayed in the comic books. Yeah. Yeah, so and then he turns to the Abomination via a couple of treatments. First of which makes him stronger, says that he wished to be about 10 years younger because he's implied to be pushing 40. Yeah, that's what he's implied to be. So basically, Ross is like, okay, I'll help you with that. So he gives him a couple of injections. One being muscle, the other, of course, now the muscle one that hurts a little bit. What hurts more for him is what happened when he injected stuff into his bones. Yeah, that was a lot more painful than going through his muscles. Eventually, he said OD and become more of the Abomination. Where does Samuel Stearns come in? Well, Bruce Banner has been communicating via the internet, so he found me in person, and of course, it's an actor who portrays Samuel Stearns. His name is, if I can find him here. Yeah, he was also in the Fantastic Four reboot movie. Yeah, I have no idea why. It is particularly one of the most strangest things related to the leader. Okay, he's played by Tim Blake Nelson. Mm-hmm. Yes. He gets exposed to later to be knocked into it by I think it was Bolowski, and his head starts bopping. Yeah, bopping, Pop becoming the leader. Is this follow up with? No! They ignore it. It's never mentioned in the movies. If you wonder what happened next after this scene, the Black Widow shows up and knocks him out. And that's the last you see of the leader in this continuity. Yes, the leader, one of the most important Hulk villains, and he is just knocked out in just 2 minutes. I heard a rumor he might come back for a Thunderbolts movie. Yeah, but that's just a rumor of what I heard. And as Abomination himself, then him and the Hulk, well, Hulk basically have sort of suppressed. They want to get him out so they can find him because he's tearing up Manhattan. So they find frickin' Harlem. So Ross does arrest him, but he does push him out. He says, oh crap. He hits the ground, transforms into the Hulk. He transfers a couple cars. He takes a couple cars with people not in them, transfers them in the box and beats the crap out of Polowski, and takes him back to this construction yard. Basically beats the crap out of him for a while, and he gets knocked away. And of course, somehow the helicopter that General Ross, I think Doc Samson and Betty Ross and a few soldiers were in, the helicopter gets taken down, and then Polowski is about to charge them and says, "Any last words?" And then the Hulk comes and says his catchphrase in the comics, "Hulk smash!" And he proceeds to nearly strangle. He beats the crap out of him, and then takes the chain, wraps around his neck, and nearly strangles the Abomination. Look how Betty Ross tells him to stop, and he gets handed over to the custody of General Ross. And that's the last you see of the Abomination, because he doesn't return after this, because there's so much confusing stuff involving this film. Yes, there's so much confusing stuff involved with this film that they don't bother about character aside from, well, the Hulk and General Ross, who was basically, they brought him back in Civil War. He was also Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. So, Bruce Banner goes off on his own. Basically, at one point in the movie, like when he's with Betty alone, he at one point attempts to have sex with her. And he has a strange watch in him. It's like, okay, he get emotionally stimulated and he has to stop having sex with the woman he loves. Okay, that didn't stop him from doing the comics. Which I'm sure that these two had sex plenty of time in the comics. And him being overstimulated did not tell him to stop. I mean, I get the fact, yes, Liv Tyler's a beautiful woman. There she is. Yeah, those of you familiar with Liv Tyler from Lord of the Rings films, yeah, she did this, like, of course, this one came out 5 years after the last Lord of the Rings film came out. Yep. And then, of course, the film ends with a post-credit scene. Ross hanging out in a bar. And then Tony Stark shows up. Yep. And in case you wonder about the explanation of this, they actually explain this in the short The Consultant. Yes, apparently he was sent by Phil Coulson to convince General Ross to not send the Abomination to join the Avengers Initiative because he wanted the Hulk. So eventually he sort of convinced him and, he convinces him, and of course he also bought the bar and tore it down, and that's the last to see of Ross until Civil War. Yep. Now, was this film a terrible film? Not really, no. Is it better than the 2008 Alien Hulk film? Oh, yes it is. Now, the film was budgeted at $153 million. The movie only grossed like $260.4 million. I would say the box office wasn't exactly, you can call this a bomb per se, but it was released the same year as Iron Man. Now, does Shield make an appearance in this movie? Not really, no. There's a mention of them. And when I heard the reason Robert Downey Jr. appeared in this movie was because he wanted to repay, he did this as a favor for Marvel Studios. Okay, fine. Yep. But in my opinion, this film is a lot better than Ang Lee's Hulk. It's got a much better story with it. It's too bad we can't do anything with this film. We can't follow up with it because of the confusing rights situation with Universal. But I give this film roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a good film. Now, the thing what I've heard is, this has been confirmed by Joe Quesada and several people, Universal only has distribution rights. That's it. That's all they got from Universal. That's the only thing Universal has. That's the only thing they can say, that they can say you have no distribution rights. That's basically it. But in the case of, do they own anything related to the Hulk? The answer is no. They own nothing from the Hulk except distribution rights. That is it. So now he's relegated to being a supporting character, despite the fact that in the comics he's a pretty good supporting character in the comics. So, make him a supporting character for some strange reason. I don't know why. Yeah. But you know what else I think is really weird? After this film, there wasn't film released until 2 years later. You want to know the reason is? Well, I'm not sure exactly what the reason was, because if you notice so, Marvel's never released a film every single year from 2008 to recently, except for 2009. Yes, but there was an important thing happened with Marvel that very year in 2009. They got bought by Disney. Yep. And the following year, they released one film, Iron Man 2, which I'll discuss that in my next review for this series. But yes, in my opinion, this film is much better than Ang Lee's Hulk. And it's got a better story with it. I like the fact they included more than just 4 characters from the comic this time. Yes, of course, this film included The Abomination, Samuel Stearns, and oh yeah, they also included Doc Samson, which I thought that was very nice. They included him. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. But not much else to say about this particular film. Now, in case you're also wondering, did Edward Norton come back for Avengers? Because that was his next appearance. Plans, but no. He was kind of fired from the franchise and replaced with Mark Ruffalo, who portrayed him from Avengers up until Avengers Endgame. Yeah, he's the current guy playing him. So in the past, like 16 years, we have basically sat through 3 Hulks. 3. Who played him in Lou Ferrigno's Hulk? I'm trying to look him up on here. Let's see. Who played him in that film? Let's see. He was portrayed by Eric Bana. Yes, the same guy who played in... I believe this is the same guy who was in Star Trek. Yeah, same guy. Yep. The absolute same guy who was in that film. Yeah, we had him. I think he was an okay version of the Hulk, but the film was terrible. Edward Norton is the second one we had. He was interesting at Bruce Banner, but I also did hear something that apparently Lou Ferrigno was the one who did the voiceover for the Hulk in The Incredible Hulk. And get this, Lou Ferrigno does a cameo in the movie as a security guard. Which I'm like, that's cool. I love that. The fact they included him. Yep. Aside from that, that's pretty much it when it comes to this particular film. Yeah, and this film did bring about the introduction of a character, about Martin Starr. Let's see if I can find him here. Roger Harrington, yes, that's the character. Roger Harrington is one of the faculty. He was the principal. Yep. Yeah, the principal of Midtown High. Yeah, a character makes a cameo in this movie, reappears as the same character. Yeah, they retconned it to be the same character. So yeah, same character. So at least this film has some characters pop up again. But this was a character who was playing a minor role. Which probably didn't notice that. But yeah, that's it for this particular review. My next review of the newest chapter of Attack on Titan. Okay, do this next review. Bye.